Alright, so in this one, I want to knock out two things that we have in our project as well. Those are the source control management tool and our CI/CD tools, considering that they're so closely linked together. Now, for source control management, we're using Git. Surprise, surprise. Nothing too controversial there. Basically, anytime I make a change inside of the project, I can run a few commands, git add the change. Say I want to do something new inside of the project, add a new feature. You can say feature slash new feature, for example. And inside of this, I will have all the changes. I can then do a git add as well as a git commit in order to ensure that the changes are basically saved to an extent. So git commit, and then I don't know the name of the feature or what I actually did on that commit. And this will go through and do some linting. And then once I'm finished, I can do a git push in order to send it online. If I run this command as well, it will link it to a branch online. Now whenever I do the git push, it will send it to this repository on GitLab. We're using GitLab as our source control management system, you could say. So if I hit that button, you'll see that we have several branches: master, develop, analytics, registration, price calculations, and so on. This helps us to keep track and keep proper versions of our application in place, such that if anything goes wrong, we can go back to one version, and so that collaboration between all group members is seamless, somewhat seamless. And that's all there is to our source control management system. It's Git. It's a popular solution when it comes to source control. Now, in terms of CI/CD, I'm using Netlify in order to host our site. Now, the way this works is that whenever I make changes and then merge them and push, those changes are then reflected here. And then what happens inside of Netlify, there is a hook such that whenever I push to the master branch here, it's gonna run some scripts behind the scenes in order to update the site that we have online. So we have an online site that basically updates each time I push to master. This is the latest push to master right here, where you can see published. And this is all of the scripts that run after I basically push to master. So yeah, and then in the end it tells me the site is live, and I should be able to go to the site, but because my internet connection isn't good right now I have to be using what little data I have. I won't be able to pull it up so well. But aside from that, this means that our site is now live and online, and that right there is basically our continuous integration and continuous deployment pipeline at work. Okay, something I forgot to mention is that our backend works a bit differently from our front end, or well, it works a bit differently from the overall application. So if I see the outside of it, you realize that our backend itself is a Git repository, aside from our overall application, which does contain the backend as well. I imagine there are ways to do this more cleanly, perhaps just separating the backend completely from the entire project. But aside from that, this basically allows us to go into our backend folder, and if we do a git push, it will, if I make changes to the backend and do a git push, it will update our repository online with it. And this backend isn't exactly inside of a Git repository or anything. I mean, it is inside of our normal Git repository. It's right here inside of the entire project. But basically, whenever I run a git push inside of my backend folder, it pushes to this application right here, Heroku. Now, the way that Netlify works, it doesn't allow you, or it doesn't give you the ability to run APIs online. It doesn't give you the ability to host them. Only front-end applications, only applications like React and Vue, and perhaps other JavaScript applications. But it doesn't allow you to run APIs basically. Heroku is a solution to that, where it does allow you to run APIs, and once you start it up, it's running continuously. It takes rest every so often though, so if this loads up, you'll see that right now our API is basically in a resting phase. App is asleep. However, if I make a push to this, or if I make a request to this URL right now, then you'll see that the app is basically woken up. So yeah, so Heroku is what hosts our API, Netlify is what hosts our front-end application. So this is a URL. Let's see if I can load up anything from it. Okay, yeah, and there it is. If I do a /users, it should be pulling from our database, and there we go. So yeah, that's how we host our API.